So this is the self-development with tactics book.
So, this one's gonna be again about James Clear's article on how other people, so not him, it is not about him, it's definitely not about him, how other people were able to solve their habit problems or to also kind of change up their habits and or break the bad ones and just, I don't know, kind of manifest the good ones or something. But more, as always, after the intro, because I'm pumped. Motherfucker. I've actually seen that in the past few episodes I haven't been swearing. You know what I mean, I haven't been doing I haven't said shit like fuck or whatever it is that often, like literally really not often, like really not often, which is something that was quite surprising me, just because it is actually something that comes really natural to me. Like it is something that I just do. Like I'm doing it in German as well. Like I'm swearing quite a lot in German as well, which is like, I don't know, maybe this is just a justification for my swearing in English as well, because I could change it up. Like if I would really want to do it, I guess I could change it up. But do I really want to do it? Nah. Why? Yeah, I kind of feel it is funny. At least it is my humor. I don't know how you're thinking about it, because it actually seems to be the case that some people actually don't like it. Some people actually even hate it, or they kind of find it, I don't know, I don't want to say disrespectful or something, or they just don't find it good, they just don't like it, when people are swearing and when the whole episode is just consisting of fucks and whatever it is. But I don't know, for me it is something different. For me it is actually something like, I don't know, humor to some degree as well. Like, of course, you can totally overdo it. And of course, you can totally kind of just maybe not use it properly or whatever. But yeah, for me, it is just funny. But also, before I actually forget to mention it, this episode, this YouTube episode, if you're on the YouTube channel, is also available as an audio-only version, as a podcast version, which means that you can listen. Only listen to this episode while you're doing something, while you're walking your dog, while you're cooking, while you're just tidying up your room, whatever you might be doing, you can also listen to this episode while you're doing something. It is amazing at my point of view, because you can also, you can get the full experience of listening and or consuming this whole episode by not just sitting around for 30 minutes or something and, I don't know, just look at me. And just look at me just reading something. Because I understand that some people might not have the time for doing that, quite a lot of people won't have the time for doing that. Some people just will like it more, I guess, just because they want to see the person that is talking. They want to just, I don't know, have a look at what I'm going through, what I'm reading, so that they can read along or whatever. Yeah, everyone's different. Everyone's preferring something different, and everybody just has some different preferences and values and whatever it might be. Therefore, check out the links in the comments. Well, actually in the description, if you are on a YouTube video, if you are on the podcast, and if you really want to have a look at the YouTube video, then also go into the description. I guess it is one of the last links, and then click on it and you will come directly either to the podcast if you click on the podcast, or to the YouTube video, or to the YouTube channel actually, if you are on the podcast. But yeah, this is it. I think we'll just go straight ahead. Yesterday we unfortunately just stopped in the middle of a new quote-unquote section or a new thing, which sometimes might be a little bit fucked up and sometimes might be not so good and whatsoever, but it is what it is. I can't change it. I can't. Well, I could, I could. But yesterday I felt like, okay, it is actually a great time to stop the episode in order to at least go ahead with the Quora question, which is at every singular end of every episode. I'm going through a question from somebody, talk about it, and then give my answer to it because I kind of find it valuable. Not only for this particular person, even though this particular person won't kind of just notice that I'm actually answering it. But it is also very important for other people because I most often pick a question that is also, or I at least assume that it's going to be very, very valuable for other people as well. But yeah, yesterday we've actually also been talking about drinking habits. And the next one's also going to be about drinking habits and how somebody also called Mark, because the last dude that we went through yesterday was also called Mark, how he actually stopped drinking and or how he just succeeded at stopping drinking and or getting sober or whatever it might be. So, and another reader also named Mark curtailed his drinking in a similar way. I replaced drinking beer every day in a succession of replacements, going through fruit juice and then iced tea, then seltzer water, which I actually don't know. I don't know what seltzer water is. I did it over about 9 months by having one less drink a week, which is actually like a great strategy. I like it. Once I finally quit, I got past the cravings in only 2 weeks. I haven't had a drink in over a year, which is amazing. Like, if it is something that is really bothering you, then you should totally stop drinking, or at least kind of limit the amount of whatever alcoholic drink you might be having the most. Yeah, just limit it. I do not want to necessarily say that you should. I hate alcohol. Like, I myself, I'm not consuming any alcohol, never ever. Ever, because I just don't like it. This also leads me to just not be in places where people drink a lot of alcohol, because I don't like to be there, because most often it is the case that people are pretty weird, and I don't like it. I literally even hate it. If you're drunk yourself, it is something completely different. But being around drunk people, if you're not drunk, is something that could be very easily bother you. Because they're funny, which is actually kind of a nice way to explain that and or express what I feel. Because I'm expressing my feelings here. No, the thing is, it is and might not be something that I particularly like, to be around drunk people and whatsoever. And therefore, I'm not going to just be in places where people drink a lot of alcohol. Sometimes I am, and the next year, actually in January, I am also going to be there because it is my prom night. And people are drinking there. I don't know what it is going to be in your kind of country or in your prom night or at your prom night, if people also are just allowed to drink there, because I don't know. I could actually assume that in some countries or in some schools or at some schools, people are actually not allowed to drink on their prom night. Could be the case. Maybe because they're too young, maybe because of certain other reasons. I don't know. The thing is, people often just, still do it. No matter if they're allowed to or not, they're just gonna still do it. But the next one, Sean. The next one's gonna be about Sean. Sean used this approach to stop smoking. I decided to quit smoking and used a fun-sized Snickers candy bar as a substitute until the major cravings went away. I'm still smoke-free years later. But he's probably gonna be, obese now, I guess. I don't know. It comes up to how much he smoked. But it is a pretty difficult one. And I wouldn't even say that it is kind of the best way to stop smoking, I guess, by just substituting it with a Snickers bar, which is obviously also not really the healthiest thing you can be consuming. But I don't know. I think it is still better than smoking, of course, but it is not the optimal thing. It is not the best thing that you can be doing. But it's better than nothing, I guess. It's better than nothing. Substitution can even be useful in a broader sense. Surai, or Surai, I'm gonna spell it. It is S-U-R-A and a J. Wrote, I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. To beat my addiction, I started working out. Now I am planning to compete in powerlifting meets, which is amazing. It's a really kind of success story, to be honest, because, it is just great. To a certain degree, habit substitution allows you to look for a healthier obsession to a certain degree. Yeah, to a certain degree. Some people are hooked on alcohol, others are hooked on exercise. Either one can be unhealthy if taken too far, but generally speaking, it is a lot better to spend a few hours exercising each day than to spend a few hours drinking each day. Of course, yeah, but I totally know where he is heading to, because I don't know, like as he said, just being really kind of addicted or being crazy about certain things in life is always not going to be good, I guess. If it is about drinking, if it is about exercising, I'm thinking about exercising as okay if you just really go really far or really way too far, so that you can actually also that you are actually hurting yourself physically and or even mentally, just because you don't sleep any longer, you don't even have kind of, I don't know, the power to do anything, just because you're so exhausted by your workouts and whatsoever. So I can definitely think of ways, you could just, do it way too far, or you can bring it or take it way too far. But yeah, it is still the case, as you also pointed out, that exercising each day for a few hours is definitely way more healthier than just drinking a few hours. But I don't know, who the fuck is exercising a few hours? But, really kind of Olympic athletes, I guess. Well, yeah, and also just all other professional athletes, I guess. They're just really working out quite a lot each day. And it is amazing, to be honest. It is really amazing, even though they just, I don't know, I especially see it in soccer, people are really kind of, they just don't like the fact that they're just earning so much for just playing the sport or just doing the sport, for just being an athlete. But I really have to say, like, well, yeah, it is what the market is. It is not something that somebody decided. It is also basically what our community decided, and also what just we, the folks, the people decided. Because, in terms of Europe and soccer, it is really like, okay, if people are gonna stop watching soccer, I guess there would not be so many or so much money in the whole system, just because it wouldn't be interesting to the people. Nobody would buy some tickets for the stadium. Nobody would watch the TV, and therefore also wouldn't watch the advertisings. Nobody would watch the live stream. Nobody would actually kind of in any way interact with soccer. Soccer as a sport, unless you're playing it yourself, but let's just keep that away. I think then the money would just sink. There wouldn't be as much money in the whole system, because nobody would be interested in it. And then nobody is interested in it, I guess. At least it would at least make sense. It is just one of these sports, and this is also the reason why, I don't know, baseball is something that is, I don't know, like really not popular in Europe. I don't know what it is about in other countries, but in Austria it is definitely not important. Well, it is not popular. It might be important for some people. I'm not gonna doubt that, but it is definitely not nearly as popular as soccer is. Soccer is just, I don't know. Soccer is just in our culture nearly. It's just something that is so important for people that I don't know. It is literally insane, I guess. But I think, just because nobody's watching baseball and whatsoever, there's also no broadcaster on the TV that is actually broadcasting baseball events and no baseball games. And there's just also not a lot of people that would sponsor these things and whatsoever. So I guess in the end, you could really kind of say that if there were more people watching baseball, if there would be more people or less people to watch soccer, then there wouldn't be as much money in the system as there is right now. I assume at least, But the next thing, which is the mindset tricks, or the mindset tricks. Sometimes I like to employ clever little mental tricks to stick with a good habit. One reader named Kilian, is it actually Kilian? It is K. Well, it's actually not a K, but it is a Caelan. And he wrote, or she wrote, I quit smoking by assigning my cheat days progressively farther in the future. I never quit for good. I only quit until my next cheat day. This helped with cravings because the choice wasn't between right now or never. It was right now or later. Ken applied a similar strategy to his habit of eating fast food. I started small when I quit bad habits like eating McDonald's all the time and drinking soda. I told myself if I would take a week off, then set 2 weeks, and that continued. This month I made it 4 years. Wow. Without McDonald's and 15 months without soda. It's amazing. Just being like, yeah, okay, 1 minute longer, 1 week longer, 1 day longer, 1 month longer, one whatever. Something that I've actually also seen with myself and how I see things and how I experience things and whatever. For me, it is actually the case that it is getting relatively easy once I've actually gotten to this place where I want to be. Let's talk about exercising. If I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to work out for 60 minutes, which I'm basically doing 5 times a week. Maybe I'm going to drop it to 4 times because of school and because it's like very time consuming. The thing is, I'm working out 5 times a week, 5 times a week, 60 minutes. The thing is, once I hit the 60-minute mark, I'm actually somehow having a craving, or I am somehow thinking about actually doing 1 hour and 10, 1 hour and 20. And it is even the case for every single exercise that I'm doing. If it is, especially, if it is like the last rep, if it is like the last rep and even last set of exercise that I'm doing, then I'm often like, okay, should I now just really push through? Should I just really kind of, break my boundaries or whatever you want to call it? And sometimes I'm doing it then. Sometimes I'm then just getting really crazy, quote unquote. Like, for sure, I'm not gonna kind of, kill myself or something. I'm just doing a little bit more, until I actually maybe feel exhausted or actually maybe feel like, okay, I have done something today. I've done some sports today and I'm feeling it. The thing is, it is really easy then. It might not be as easy just working out for 60 minutes each day, but if you get to the 60-minute mark, I think it is easier to just do 1 hour and 20 minutes or 1 hour and 10 minutes or something, just at least for me, This is just really is something that applies to me, to my life, to how I think, to how I kind of act in the world. Yeah, it might also be the exact same thing for you. And this is basically the exact same strategy. And I also know it from Wim Hof. Wim Hof, the Iceman, the man who was just, sitting in an ice tub. Well, tub is kind of relative, to be honest, because it was like a really big box with ice in it. And this was quite it. And he was sitting in it with just shorts, really something important to point out. He was doing it he was sitting in this box or whatever you want to call it for, I guess, nearly 3 hours or something, definitely 2 hours if I remember correctly, but I don't really know if it is like, I think it was pretty close to the 3 hour mark. The thing there is, if I remember correctly, but I'm not quite sure, please take it with a grain of salt, I guess he was also like, okay, 1 more minute, 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 and just going on until until he got bored of it, just because you could. This has something to do with willpower, and I guess if you train your willpower and if you have a certain amount of willpower, you can basically, theoretically, just really keep on doing it quite forever. Theoretically, we could. But I don't know, just at least for me, it is the case that then there is going to be a point where I just have to say like, okay, well, it often isn't even about just, it is often really not about, okay, I'm in pain right now, or I'm not able to just hold this right now. I think it is just like, more like I'm getting bored of it. I just, okay, I know that I could do it and I know that I did it and I'm proud of me and whatever, but yeah. This is it. Sometimes it is even the pain. I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm not feeling any fucking pain. But yeah. The next one. Another person used the pointing and calling strategy I discussed in chapter 4 from his book Atomic Habits. They wrote, I quit smoking by saying a mantra out loud every time I wanted a cigarette. And this mantra was, your brain tricks you, which I think changed my thinking from the subconscious part of my brain to the logical part. Shayana or Qiana, it's a Qiana, I don't know, I'm very sorry, used a little math and a clever visual trick. I stopped drinking soda, she wrote. I added up all the sodas I drank for the week and counted how many tablespoons of sugar were in those soda cans and bottles. I began to scoop the amount of sugar into an enormous bowl. The visual did it for me. I had to break the habit. It obviously was quite a lot. And I do really have to say, like in terms of drinking, in terms of soda and drinks in general, it is a really kind of fucked up thing. The amount of sugar that we can actually absorb, the amount of sugar we can actually take in, it is insane. Just, I don't know, think about cola, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just a soda. If it is about juices, there's also quite a lot of sugar in them. For sure, if you're buying some great juices, then it's going to be just the fruit. But of course, well, you wouldn't be able to kind of consume, 100 fucking oranges. You couldn't, but you can drink a whole bottle of juice, of orange juice. You could. And this is the problem there. We would be able, or we are able to consume way more than we would actually be able to, without extracting the juice out of the orange, quote unquote. But yeah, the last section, then we actually have finished up with this article, which is good. The habit trick. Finally, I would like to close with one of my favorite strategies, which is the habit tracking. Habit tracking. So here is how a few readers are using it. Cindy sent me an email saying, I purchased a large wall calendar and started building the chains. This really works for me. I like to build that chain. There are 6 months of red X's on my calendar. I'm healthier, have lost 30 pounds, feel stronger, exercise more, garden, read more, work on my small business, and practice my French. The easiest way to start tracking your habits is to use the templates provided in the habit journal. It will make the whole process a breeze. There's going to be a link in this article, and the link is going to be linked. Well, the article is going to be linked down in the description. So if you want to check it out, please do so. My favorite approach is to pick a very tiny version of your habit and track that. For example, I have been tracking the habit of reading 1 page for the last month. One reader named Günther did something similar. I've done a simple workout every day for over half a year now. I managed to stick to it by changing the scope when I don't have time for a full set or don't feel like it. Instead of skipping altogether, I do an abbreviated session, which is something like, okay, it's going to be just a lighter one, it's going to be a smaller one. So I also mark it in my calendar. Hopefully these short stories give you some ideas on how to build better habits in your own life. If you would like to learn more about the strategies discussed above, check out Atomic Habits, which is his book, as I've been talking about it. And if you're interested in a notebook that makes it easy to build better habits, try the habit journal. Again, all the links that are linked here in the article are on the article, and the article is linked down in the description. But no matter what, or show notes, actually, if you're on the podcast, it is called something different, but even though it is quite the same thing. But no matter what, keep taking action in small ways each day. It is so gratifying for me to see people making real changes in their life because of these ideas. As always, thanks for reading. And on the end, or in the end of this article, as always, there's going to be something about the Against Malaria Foundation. So if you want to donate to the Against Malaria Foundation, I have as well. I think it was $5 or something. It is the minimum. I'm not having a lot of money. I don't even have to justify that. If you want to do that, if you want to donate, then just look for a good charity. A good charity, a good one. But yeah, you know it. But just because we always do it, we are now going through another question. another question. But I've actually seen that there is actually some kind of sections there. The first one is questions for you. The second is answer requests. And the last one is answer later, But let's actually, there might be actually quite some questions that might be related to something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna do the space trick, where I hit the space bar for a couple of times, so that I can actually somehow randomize the act of, choosing one of those questions. But yeah, so 1, 2, 3. Well, it is actually not such a bad one. The question is, and it is actually anonymous or something, I assume. And it is 3 minutes ago. It is actually insane how many people actually ask questions on Quora. It is amazing. If you want to be a good person, just be a little bit on Quora and answer somebody's questions. I guess it could definitely help also you out with your karma, actually, but just don't give with the expectation of getting good karma. Just give because you want to give, just because you kind of feel it is a nice thing to do. But yeah. So how can you invest as a teenager if your parents won't help you? I guess it is in terms of investing your money into stock options, into brands, into kind of real investments in terms of, okay, I want to invest into this brand, I'm going to give them my money, but in the end, I'm going to just get something from them, or I'm going to get certain amounts of what is it called? A certain percentage of the whole thing, like of the whole company or whatever. You know what I mean. I do not have to explain. The thing is, should you, as a teenager, invest in something? Of course, I believe, in the long-term investment thing. I really believe in also what Tony Robbins was saying about compound interest, which means that you're gonna. I don't know anything about investing, just to say that. Don't do what I'm saying. This is just what I've heard from other people. This is just what I've read. Please do your own research. Please just really believe in somebody else, but not me. I have never invested in my life, and I do not even think that I just will. The thing is, investing in, I do not even know or remember what they were called, which is actually a pretty funny thing, because I have been reading about investing for quite a bit because I was interested in it as well. Because, I don't know, I assume that a lot of people think that it is going to be just some sort of a shortcut, just get rich quick scheme thing. But yeah, it isn't. In the end, it's a really long-term process, and it could just take you, 60 years until you have actually managed to get $1 million out of your investment account. Or your investment account being $1 million or euros or pounds or whatever it might be. The thing is, I believe in it. I believe in compound interest, which means, okay, every year you're going to just have a plus of 9% or something. And if you're going to do it for 60 years, then in the end you will just have quite some money, because it's going to compound. Because you maybe start with 100 euros, then it's going to be 109. And then, which is the really important part, you're going to have 9% on your 109, which means, okay, 9% of 109 is more than 9% of 100. And as you go through this whole process, and as you kind of think of this whole process, once you have 100K, 9% of 100K is definitely something. And this is the whole point. It's going to take some time, but in the end, you're going to have some money eventually. Something important as well is to just not stop investing into it and just keep your money in the market, no matter what, no matter if there's going to be a recession, no matter if there's actually, the economy is amazing and whatever, just keep your fucking money in the market. This is what I've heard. But you should be investing into, what are they called actually? What are they called? It's really interesting, it is just one particular thing, and this particular thing is basically you're buying stocks from multiple companies. Well, it is called something with I think it is SP 500 or something. Let's actually, SP 500. Is it actually called like that? Yeah, S&P 500. S&P 500 index. The 500 I think is for wow, it was down for quite a bit here. Would have actually been a great way to invest, I guess. Well, no, never mind what I said. Never ever mind. It's just in the day. Because the thing is, can I show you here the last year? I can show you here. You can see the graph of the S&P 500, which is a certain I don't know what they are called. I don't remember what they were called, the exact expression just for those kind of stocks. But the thing is, with the S&P 500, you are simultaneously buying 500 stocks from different companies, which means you're buying a stock from 500 companies, which leads you to having a lot of stocks. And the thing is, well, if somebody just, goes bankrupt, then you still have 499 ones that are potentially not going bankrupt, which is amazing, which means that you're kind of safe all the fucking time. Of course, the risk is definitely not that high. Therefore, the return is also not that high. But yeah, it's going to be about long-term investment, and it is not about just getting rich in 5 seconds. But as you can see, it is actually changing while I'm talking, as you can see here. And since the past year, I hope I'm not going to talk about some shit here because I'm really not such a knowledgeable person. It went up for 3.95 something, which is 0.13%. Yeah. In terms of 5 years, it is, I don't know if the 3 here is just a percentage or the one above or behind or whatever. The max. What is the max? So it actually got introduced in 1979 and it gone up just quite something. Yeah, it really got, the thing is, if you bought like one S&P 500 in 1979, which then costed $108, I guess, is now worth, I don't know if you can actually say that, but $3,000, I guess, isn't it? Like what it is? I guess it is actually what it is. I really think it is what it is, But I don't know, like one share, quote unquote, $3,000. I don't know if you should be doing this. But as I said, I'm really not a trader. I'm not an investor. And I don't know. I just don't know. This is what I've heard. This is what I've been thinking about. But one thing that you can just for sure be doing is investing in yourself. Just read some books, read some articles. I don't know, work, do the shit that you actually want to do and don't learn and invest and try to get rich or whatever. I don't know, invest into yourself. And then if you're having a great business idea, maybe even you get some investors, for your product. And then you can actually do something with your product. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be about getting rich. I assume that, I really assume that. But yeah, still, if you really want to do it, then you're also going to be able to just invest $300 or something. So not that much into also just the S&Ps and whatever. So they're definitely index funds. They're called index funds. The S&P 500 is an index fund. But yeah, I guess this is what it is. And this is going to be the end of the episode. I really have to thank you from the bottom of my heart, like really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for going through this with me. Thank you for listening and or watching. And I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. I really hope that. I really, really, really hope that. But But I wish you the best health of happiness and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself when you're going to be remembered. So basically your legacy, because we totally have it in our control, but still, no matter how generous, no matter how nice, no matter how just beautiful you are, there's still going to be someone that doesn't like you or even hates you, because this actually seems to be the case how people are. And yeah, some other questions that you should ask yourself are, why are you here? What is bothering you the most? And what are you trying to change? Those three questions might enable you to actually figure out your purpose in life, and your purpose is definitely very, very important to know. It's really important to know that. But yeah, maybe also you just get to a business idea just because businesses have often started because of somebody being pissed off by something. But yeah, I gotta think I'm gonna see you the next time. I at least hope. Subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've liked it. Also give me a like if you've liked it. Would really mean the world to me. It really would be, because I'm actually putting in a lot of work into what I'm doing right here. I'll see you. Thank you.